Hello bookworms! Today I'm going to be doing my December TBR video. These are going to be all of the books that I'm planning on reading in December outside of the 'Tis the Season-a-thon, because I did a separate TBR for the readathon that me, Heather, Chelsea, Trina, and Amy are hosting during the first week of December. So those are all of the holiday books that I want to read during that first week, and then these are all of the other books that I want to read for the rest of the month. So the first book that I am so excited about is The Gilded Wolves by Roshani Chokshi. I recently got my hands on a copy of this thanks to my friend DJ, and I am so excited. I cannot wait to read this one. I've been like dying for it pretty much. I really love Roshani Chokshi's writing. Her style is just so beautiful. So I've been eager to pick up her next book, which is The Gilded Wolves. And not only that, but it takes place in 1889 in Paris. I'm like obsessed with Paris, so this is really exciting. And it follows a famous hotelier who is in search of an artifact that this like secret order is seeking. So him and someone else, I believe, team up to go out and find this artifact before the order does, and things kind of get very dangerous. And it says that they end up searching for the artifact through the dark and glittering heart of Paris, and it just sounds like so lovely, like something that I'm going to adore. So I really I've been dying to read this one. I seriously almost put all of my November TBR aside and picked this one up because I'm that excited for it. So that was my plan. Next on my list is Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa. Many people have been telling me how much I will love this book because it is basically an anime, and that is all that I really needed to hear. My best friend Alexa really loved this book as well, so I'm very much looking forward to reading it. I know that it is heavily inspired by Japan. So it follows this girl Yumiko, and she is a yokai, so she's like half fox, half human. She's a very strong power of deception, and in the beginning of the book, her entire family, or her foster family, is killed and her town is burnt to the ground. Then she meets a mysterious samurai named Cage, and the two of them are seeking the Scroll of 1,000 Prayers in order to be led to a dragon and to have a wish. But because Yumiko has these powers of deception, it sounds like it might tear the two of them apart, and it's already kind of a shaky alliance, but it sounds like it's going to be absolutely wonderful. Like, I've been dying to read this book, so I'm very much looking forward to getting to it in December. And this is the Owl Crate exclusive version. The next book on my list is one that doesn't come out for quite a while, and that is Serious Moonlight by Jen Bennett. I really loved Alex Approximately. I just read Starry Eyes in November, and I devoured it and fell so head over heels for those characters, and I was just reminded of how much I love Jen's writing, and I was like, why did I not read this sooner? Like, I was kicking myself for it. So I'm not letting that happen again. I'm reading Serious Moonlight as soon as I possibly can. I absolutely love the premise of it. It follows two characters who are working in a hotel in Seattle, and there's like rumored to be a reclusive author who's living there, and I don't need to know anything else. Like, that checks so many boxes off for me. So earlier in the year, I was really focusing very heavily on fantasy, and obviously I still am. I love fantasy. It's my favorite genre, but I had really forgotten how much I truly enjoy contemporary novels as well. And I've had the pleasure of reading some really great ones recently, so now I'm more open to mixing some in with my fantasy reads, and this is just one of my most anticipated, so this is happening. Next on my list is Slayer by Kirsten White. This is the new novel that's coming out in January, and this one is a Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot. It's all about a new Slayer, and I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer, so this is like a no-brainer that this is going to be on my TBR, and I definitely want to read it before it comes out. I also really love the cover. I think the girl on it looks so badass. I love it. And it's actually about a set of twins who grow up at Watchers Academy, which is a boarding school for people who are being trained to be slayers. Nina never had a violent disposition, so she always envisioned herself becoming a nurse in the future, within the academy. But as soon as Buffy dies, everything changes, and Nina is not only the next chosen one, she is the last slayer. So a lot of things are going to change for her, and she's going to have to cope with this new lifestyle, and she's going to have to really train very hard in order to save the world and make sure that there are no impending threats on the people that she loves most. The next book that I want to read is actually a middle grade book, and that is The Penderwicks by Jean Birdsell. I've heard really good things about this series. It's actually a National Book Award winner, and it follows four sisters who go and live on this state called Arendelle, which also just reminds me of Frozen. But this book actually takes place during the summer. I believe the final book in the series just came out, and it's very much loved, but it sounds like a very cozy, like nice family kind of read, and that's definitely what I'm going to be searching for over the Christmas holidays. I really like kind of cozy books around that time. So this is one that I am very much looking forward to reading. The next book on my list I actually have a digital arc of, and that is Enchantée by Gita Trelease. And this one is another Paris book. I don't know if you're sensing a theme here, but this one takes place in Paris in 1789, so it's about 100 years prior to The Gilded Wolves. And this one follows a girl named Camille who is definitely from a poorer class, and she uses some kind of dark magic in order to turn different metals into coins that her family needs to buy food and medicine and stuff. Once the coins are no longer holding their shape and her brother actually runs away with the rest of the family's savings, Camille transforms herself into Baroness de la Fontaine, and she goes and she works at the Palace of Versailles, which I just love, like, reading about that time. It's fascinating to me. Everything in the palace is like so cool, but it's just so horrible because so many of the French people were suffering. Meanwhile, the palace was like just frivolously spending all of their money and thriving. But I'm still always just so drawn to that era. Then after a little while, Camille ends up losing control of her secrets, and the game that she's been playing turns pretty deadly. The revolution ends up erupting. She has to choose love or loyalty, democracy or aristocracy, freedom or magic, and all before Paris burns. So yeah, I'm pretty much dying to read this book. I also just really love the cover. I think it's super beautiful. And finally, the last book on my December TBR. I know this is a pretty ambitious TBR for December, but I am so excited about all of these that I feel like I'm gonna get through everything, no problem. That final book is obviously Queen of Air and Darkness by Cassandra Clare. I cannot wait to read this. I'm so excited. Cassandra Clare is actually doing an event in New York City, and I'm going to try to go to it, even though I know it's probably going to be chaos. I've never met her, so I really want to do that. But I love the Dark Artifices. For everyone who's going to ask, yes, you should read the previous series before you read the Dark Artifices series. You can still enjoy it on its own, but you'll get so much more out of it if you have all of the history behind, like, the familial names and just like the legacy that's there. I feel like it's more impactful having all of that prior knowledge, but it's worth it. It's so good. I can't, like, the way that Lord of Shadows ended, I've been dying for this book. I need it so bad. Very much looking forward to reading that. So that is 7 books in addition to the 3 to 5 books that I'm planning on reading during Tis the Season-a-thon. Let me know if you're participating in Tis the Season-a-thon. Let me know if you've read anything that I'm planning on reading in December. And that is all that I have for this video, so I will see you guys soon in a new one. Bye!